Welcome to the Critics Club Crash the Cannes Film Festival.
I like that.
Uh, I'm your co-host for the evening, Jeff Stevens. Joining with me tonight is Jim Keel.
I just very pompously bowed, but you can't see me.
We're twirling our mustaches tonight, or mustachios, because we're being very French. It's the best way to say it. David is not joining us tonight because he hates the French. We'll just assume that's the case. But yeah, so we're going to be covering the Cannes Film Festival 2025. Probably not as in depth as some other outlets are doing.
Not at all.
We're obviously also recording this after the fact, so we already know the winners. But yeah, I just thought we would dive in and talk about it. Jim, I'll let you kind of take it away from here.
Well, so what made me want to do this was because obviously this podcast has kind of I guess kickstarted me trying to watch more movies. Instead of watching the same ones over and over and over again that I've watched for my entire life. So I've been really on a prowl to try and watch more movies and broaden my horizons when it comes to film. A director that I'm a big fan of is Richard Linklater, and he directed the Before trilogy, School of Rock, Dazed and Confused. He did those films. Well, I saw that he had a new movie coming out, and I'll talk. Trust me, I'm going to talk more about it. It's a French film that I saw oh hey, it's at Cannes. Oh, and hey, Cannes is right now. It's going on as we speak. So I got really into what is Cannes exactly? I see it on movie posters sometimes, and I see it talked about, obviously, besides Sundance. I feel like it might be, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it might be the most prestigious besides Sundance when it comes to film.
Yeah, so it's been running for, I think this is the 75th year.
72nd.
Oh, thank you. So let me just take a step back for a second. How much do you know about the history of film?
Not nearly as.
Well, yeah, just broad strokes.
I've been looking into it a lot more lately, and it's the 78th edition of Cannes. My apologies. As far as my knowledge of the history of film, it is very high level and baseline.
So there's a lot of contention around this, but the story that I in film school that I got was,
yes, I did not go to film school. Jeff did.
Well, and when I say film school, that sounds really pretentious. It was really Houston Community College Film School, so let's not it's not Juilliard, for instance. But I would say it was a pretty good foundation. We watched a bunch of movies that I probably normally wouldn't have, but we did also learn about the general history. And so there's a couple different dates. So 1895, you have the Lumiere brothers, who had basically 10 short films that they showed on. This is 28th of December 1895. And yes, I am referencing a Wikipedia page just to double check me on this because it's been a minute. But this was the very first kind of breakthrough of motion pictures. They were black and white.
Did this have the horse, or is that even before that?
That's actually a really good question. I'm not sure. So you're talking about the horse in motion. So that is actually Edward, or sorry, this is a Welsh.
And that might actually be way before that.
Yes. So that is basically much earlier, and that's probably the first version of okay, we can do moving pictures.
That's almost more of a photography thing than it would be a filmmaking thing.
Yeah, so that was 1878. 3 seconds
Okay, I knew that. I
long.
figured. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so, and I have to back up a second here. Yeah, 1895. So we're talking about not that much of a difference in terms of, so 1895 minus 1878. So like a 17-year gap between those two. And basically they came out with 10 short films. They're black and white, under a minute long, without sound.
Okay.
And it was a single shot from a steady camera. So this is kind of the first one. Then you have, and this is obviously a huge step forward, George Méliès.
Oh yeah, yep, I know that name.
So, and he's probably most famous for A Trip to the Moon.
Yep. I actually took out some time. This is maybe a month ago when I really started diving deep, and I watched a bunch of those kind of like 14, 15-minute long, early silent films.
Well, and A Trip to the Moon is the very first film where you're getting kind of a cheater's way into color, because for the longest time color films didn't exist. So
yep.
The way that was achieved was he was actually painting frames.
Yes, and I've seen quite a bit of films do that kind of similar thing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm saying all of this because the French film is very, like, it's very synonymous with filmmaking.
Right.
So the fact that you have the Cannes Film Festival is, it's not hard to see like how that evolved, essentially. Now, I will say that the Cannes Film Festival is, it's known, it's off the coast of the French Riviera, first of all. So it's like, this is a bougie film festival.
I yes.
there is definitely a lot of like focus on high fashion and high society. So you can take that as you will. Now,
well, the reason why I know you're right is because when I was trying to consume more about the Cannes Film Festival, and I mean like the films, the directors, like the process, everything that would come up is best dressed, like who, worst dressed. Like it was all red carpet fashion related stuff. I had to dig and dig and dig and to find content on the actual like films of Cannes.
Yeah, and to be clear, like, this isn't necessarily like, there's a lot of films that are not in, so because it is a film festival, it is a competition.
Yes.
There's different levels of that, and I think you might have done a little bit more research into the levels than I have.
I did, and I can break them down really quickly if you'd like.
I would, because the thing is like, it's not, there's films that are in competition,
mm-hmm.
and then there's films that are just there. They're just
Correct.
Screening, and they're not part of the and there's famous ones too.
Oh yeah, I mean, the newest Mission Impossible.
The original Old Boy was featured there.
Yeah.
Kill Bill Volume 2. Sin City. Clerks 2.
I didn't know about Clerks 2.
Yeah, like there's basically, it's a really good junket for film press, because a lot of times people are using this with Sundance too. They're using it to entice buyers for these films.
And that is, yes, because a lot of that's the main thing, like, and we'll get into it, companies like Neon, who kind of run Cannes at this point. And like, even Netflix are buying movies from
Mm-hmm.
from this festival that may not have distribution.
And it's a really good sounding board. Now, what you'll hear is that different films will get like an 8-minute standing ovation, or
Right.
for like I don't remember what is the longest standing ovation at the Cannes. 15 minutes for Once Upon a Time in America.
I thought you were about to say Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, but
Robert De Niro.
that's
That's
also
a long fucking movie, by the way.
but that is also very polite clapping in certain cases. If
Yeah.
you get a standing ovation, that does not mean necessarily that your film was great.
Right.
So, but yeah. Also, like, I'm just still trying to figure out like how anyone could stand for 15 minutes just clapping.
Yeah, it seems like an endurance test.
I'm so sorry. I was wrong. 22 minutes is the longest standing ovation for Pan's Labyrinth.
Not deserved.
Followed closely by Fahrenheit 9/11, the Michael Moore documentary.
Okay.
At 20 minutes. So like let's just be real. Yeah, and like the Neon Demon, for instance, which have you watched any of his films, Nicholas? I don't know how do you pronounce his full name. Vinton Refn. You probably would recognize Drive.
I love Drive.
Gosling.
I love Drive.
Okay. So he's the Neon Demon was one of his that came out in 2016. It got 17
I've not seen
minutes.
that. Okay. Huh.
So, why don't you go into like explaining the different categories? So,
I'm gonna give you what I think are the most important. There actually are some more, but they're just kind of like they're nonsense. Like they don't really do anything. So. You have the competition. You have in competition, and that's competing for the Palme d'Or, which is their like major prize. Parasite won it last. In 2019. Anora was the Palme d'Or winner last year. So just to give you a sense of movies, if you win that, you're gonna have a good run. So. This is the main event. These films are selected to compete for the Palme d'Or, the festival's most prestigious prize. It includes anywhere between 20 and 24 films from around the world, features established directors and rising auteurs. Films must be world premieres and reflect significant artistic quality. I'm sure that is subjective, as hell. They have judges and a jury and all that stuff. So the main awards in that category, you have the Palme d'Or, which is best film. You have the Grand Prix, which is second prize. And then you have best director, best actor, best actress, best screenplay, and then jury prize. Then you have Uncertain Regard, which is like, I don't understand why it's named that. I'm sure it's a French thing. But it's a sidebar to the main competition, focusing on more innovative, bold, or non-traditional storytelling. Showcases emerging voices, experimental styles, or culturally unique narratives. Often includes first or second time directors, and there is an award. It is the Uncertain Regard Prize. Then you have Out of Competition, which are these films are not competing for the Palme d'Or, but are invited to screen due to their high profile, public interest, or artistic relevance. This features blockbusters, so like the new Mission Impossible. Big name directors, so Spike Lee's newest movie was there, or special tributes. Meant for major premieres that don't fit the competitive mold. Then you have midnight screenings, which are dedicated to edgy, genre-based, or unconventional films, which include like horror, thriller, action, dark comedies, and they play late at night. Which is very funny to me to think of, like, a group at Cannes going to like a midnight showing of like a horror movie.
Yeah.
But like dressed up like they're going to like, you know. That's very funny to me. Then there's the premieres, this is a relatively new category launched to highlight works by major filmmakers that are not competing, which allows returning auteurs to showcase new projects. High profile, but generally not seeking an award. Again, I don't know why that is its own category now. That makes sense to just throw it into out of competition. And then the last one I have on my list is special screenings, which is reserved for documentaries, tributes, political films, or unique artistic statements selected for their significance or cultural impact. No competition, but may receive standing ovations and critical acclaim, which is what I assume Fahrenheit 9/11 was there for. Was just a special screening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are the main, aspects of Cannes. But the main event, like I said, is the in competition competing for the Palme d'Or.
Yeah. So there was a lot of films that came out this year for Cannes. I want to say, let me see. I just had this pulled up. So for in competition, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
I have the list here.
23 films.
Yeah. Are you on the Cannes website?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
So, I mean, and it's from some directors that we've never heard of. There's also a ton of directors that we have heard of before.
Yes.
I'm sure. Well, okay. So let me just run this real quick. You picked 5 films.
I did. Yes. And technically, I picked 8. 3 that weren't in competition, and then 5 that were in competition.
Okay, so let's reverse the script on this a little bit. I want to talk about the ones that are not in competition first.
Fine with me.
Just because I feel like... So, out of competition... Actually, let's start there. Out of competition, did you have any films from this? I think you had 1. If I had to guess, I think you had 1.
Yeah, so let me actually go to their out of competition. Let me see. That's uncertain regard. Out of competition, I have 1. Yes, and is
it directed by Spike Lee?
Yes. It's highest to lowest. Which, if you don't know, highest to lowest is kind of a reimagining of the Akira Kurosawa film High and Low, which is basically a famous person's chauffeur has their child kidnapped, and the movie is about what is the famous person going to do to help? Is he going to help, and so on and so forth. So this is a reimagining of that script. The synopsis. Taisos is a neo-noir crime thriller and a reinterpretation of Kurosawa's 1963 film High and Low. It's set in modern-day New York. The story follows David King, which is Denzel Washington, which is their 5th collaboration together. He's a titan in the music industry known for his impeccable ear. His life takes a dramatic turn when his chauffeur's son is mistakenly kidnapped, leading to a moral dilemma. Should he pay the $17.5 million ransom or not? That narrative delves into themes of power, legacy, and the complexities of the music world. And they put in like A$AP Rocky and Ice Spice and other like really popular musical acts into the movie to really give it some levity, in my opinion. I'm super excited for that. It's already been picked up by A24, and it's an Apple original film.
Yeah,
so
it's not surprising.
Yeah, I because I don't know any Apple original films, I was a little surprised, but I assume because it's also A24 that it will have a theater run.
August, yeah.
Okay, there you
It'll
go.
come out.
Cool.
So Apple has really, really like leaned into buying like Killers of the Flower Moon. That's technically an Apple film.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah, and then you've got like stuff like The Greatest Beer Run Ever. One that you would actually probably know, The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they've definitely leaned into like, I mean, and they also did like Ridley Scott's Napoleon.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of different films that they've really gone into. I was gonna actually ask, have you watched any Akira Kurosawa films?
Oh yeah.
So the ones that spring to mind for me are Hidden Fortress.
Yeah, that. There wouldn't be Star Wars without that film.
Yep, and then Seven Samurai.
I mean, yeah, that's the most famous. And I saw Seven Samurai, but I saw it decades ago. And they're actually doing an anniversary screening of it at River Oaks Theater next month.
Did you ever check out the Fine Arts Museum screenings? Because I'm telling you,
it's not that much, dude. It's not that much.
I mean, you say that, but
they're showing a Nora.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like if that's, I feel like there's gonna be.
I know. I have it in my toolbar now.
Blue Sun Palace.
I know. I already have looked.
All right. So that was our
Did you have anything?
Competition? That highest to lowest.
Okay.
Mission Impossible Final Reckoning doesn't make it on my list.
Well, because you've seen it.
I saw it, and man, once you get to that point and you're watching.
It really takes the energy out of trying to watch all those movies now.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
But I want to do it. I want to do it for Simon Pegg.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to believe he's worth it to do that for.
Yeah, I mean, starting in film 3, who also had Jesse Pinkman in it, which.
Oh, Aaron Paul? Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea, dude. Until I was watching it the other night. I was like, Jesus. Because it's also been fucking years. Like, I probably watched it in 2006.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Yeah, that was the only one out of competition. I'm just going to go in reverse order. Certain regard.
Very fancy.
I had one in this.
I also have one, and I bet it's the same one.
Okay, it's not. It's probably not the Scarlett Johansson film.
Oh, mine is a Scarlett Johansson one.
Oh, okay. Because that was my second choice. Mine is actually Urchin.
What is it?
Urchin.
Oh, I've heard it's the guy's first movie.
Yeah. So actually, like, Harris Dickinson's been in a lot of things. Have you ever actually? Did you watch The King's Man? Not King's Man.
Yeah.
See, he was no. The King's Man is the prequel to.
I've only seen the first two.
Oh, dude, The King's Man was really good. It shows how Kingsman actually came to be.
Okay.
Ray Fiennes. I'm sorry.
Ray Fiennes.
And then this dude plays his son in that movie.
Okay.
I mean, also he was in Baby Girl and some other stuff, but that's where I know him from.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, his first film. It's really simple premise. Drifter struggles with integrating into society. In
London, right?
Yeah, but he describes it as a film about mental health and people who fall between the cracks, and then the ways in which the system fails people in certain ways. So I don't know. I like that concept.
It's one that I do have on my watch list on Letterboxd. It's there. So didn't make my list for this, but I am excited about it.
Yeah. Now, the June Squibb film that you're looking at.
I like June Squibb, man. I think she's funny.
Yeah. The
I like
June
Scarlett Johansson too. She seems like good people.
I don't know necessarily, like, I would have to watch that movie before I can make, like, an assessment.
Did you watch Thelma?
No.
So last year, a movie starring June Squibb came out called Thelma.
I've heard about it.
It was really funny, dude.
But this is her first film as well, right?
This is Scarlett Johansson's first film, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have heard that that the people there who watched it's not getting panned, but it's like I think it's just okay.
And that's fine. I mean, that's one of those things where it's like
you got just okay at Cannes, like you're fine.
Metacritic is saying 50 out of 100, so.
Which I think is like and that's what I thought it would have.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is on that regard. Yeah, I was interested in watching the Chronology of Water though too, because that's also
Kristen Stewart's first film.
Yeah. Now that one I've heard was like really chilly, if that makes sense. It's just like emotionally, like you feel chilly throughout the film.
Okay.
And
yeah, I know it's based off of an autobiography.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. I've heard that it's pretty chilly is a good word for it. I just heard that it's very. You got to be in a right state of mind to be able to watch this type of movie.
Well, so it's kind of how I feel about The Last of Us, specifically The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
I had to really be in the right mind frame for that movie, or rather that game, because I knew it was going to fuck me up.
Yeah.
Like it is not a lighthearted property. Mm-hmm. So, it's just one of those things that, like, I knew this was going to be one of those. Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because I did want to highlight that one too, just because she's more of a universally well-known person in this category.
But, I will say I'm glad that her and Robert Pattinson have, like, moved on from Twilight.
1,000%.
Like, they were able to kind of, like, escape those shackles. And I think it's like, it's kind of like, Daniel Radcliffe, like, he went on, like, his own, like, I'm going to do something besides Harry Potter.
Which, good for him. I think he's done well with that. I don't know if you've ever seen Swiss Army Man, but that movie's awesome.
That is the one film by the Daniels of two. Let me just rephrase that I did not care for.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
Now the flip side of that is I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. And that movie,
I did too.
That movie fucking spoke to me on different levels. Mm-hmm.
That was a great movie. Alyssa, the wife, and I watched that one. I like that one a lot. But what I'm saying though is I do think that despite because Harry Potter is despite everything that's going on in that world, like those are beloved, well-known movies. Like people look at those movies like I look at Lord of the Rings, and it's hard to break out of that mold. But I feel like there's a certain, maybe smaller fan base that feel that way about the Twilight films. Like more so than anybody, Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson have broken out better than any of them.
Yeah, I would say that's probably accurate. I mean, it is funny to see like the Twilight Lego set of like the fucking Cullen house. It's just, I don't know. It'll be Because so they just released the like who's going to be playing Hermione, Ron, and Harry in the new show.
Oh, okay.
Like yesterday.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
And I was like I don't know. It's just one of
Let
those
me ask you
things
this:
where
are people gonna hate this like Tolkien folks hate Rings of Power?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like I grew up with those films, so to
Right.
me, like they hold like a pretty special place in my heart. Because like
Yeah.
as I was growing up, it was pretty much I want to say it was pretty much like every year was like like I was the same age.
Oh, interesting.
So like
That's
and
interesting.
there's I think a break. So right, so Prisoner of Azkaban. Let me just look this up real quick. And I'm sorry that like we're completely. Okay. So yeah, because like Prisoner of Azkaban came out in 2004. I was 14.
Mm-hmm. Saw that in theater in New Orleans on vacation because it was raining that day.
That's the best one.
It's still the only full Harry Potter movie I've seen. And,
Um.
and knowing it's the best one makes me not want to watch the other ones.
Yeah, and I would say like the first one is good.
I tried to watch the first one because I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna watch the Harry Potter films, and I got like halfway through the first one.
I would say it's good in the fact that like they had so much to establish as like a visual identity to really a world that no one had ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like they created the blueprint. Prisoner of Azkaban like cemented it and was like, hey, now we're gonna make this a little bit darker and kind of gothic and eerie and creepy. And like every film after that tried to emulate it. And it was
I feel like they did a great job of like you said, as the kids got older,
yeah,
the themes matured,
yeah,
and which is exactly how that should have been.
yeah.
I feel sick giving Harry Potter all this praise, knowing what we know about
Yeah.
what's her name. So yeah,
So let's move into in competition.
right. And
Um.
I made my list, which is not in any kind of order. I made it a couple of days before the awards were given out. And so the awards did not come into play when I was making my list. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, I mean, so let me just look here. I've got two on my list from in competition, which you'll know one of them.
Mm-hmm. I have
Um.
five. I mean, all I have five of them.
Okay. Well, why don't you go through your five?
Okay, so and again, this is I did not put this in any real order, except for maybe the first one. Put the first one where it was only because of what I have learned over the course of the last couple of weeks about this director. And it just so happened to be that it was the Palme d'Or winner. It was just an accident by Jafar Panahi. Do you know his story?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Jafar Panahi has directed films. He's Iranian. He's directed films that have imprisoned him multiple times because he doesn't get permission from the government there to make his movies. Um, in fact, before this film, the most recent movie, he had to smuggle out of Iran on a thumb drive in a cake in order for it to get to. I can't remember what film festival it was, but in order for it to get out into the world, because they were watching him so closely, the government was. So that right there made me like okay, that's friggin' fascinating. And the fact that every movie he puts out, once like it's like done and like award seasons are over and he goes back to Iran, he gets arrested and is jailed for a long time. And he just keeps doing it.
That sucks.
It does, and I don't know why he just doesn't leave. But I guess I don't know. So yeah, it was Just an Accident, directed by Jafar Panahi. It does have distribution in France. Now, I made this list, like I said, about a week ago. It may have changed. It have a distributor in France, which I'm sure it has more now, but it was Memento Distribution.
No, I think I think that's still the case.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's an Iranian film. It's not that long. It's 105 minutes. I mean, it's not super doable, but international distribution for stuff like that, I don't know. I think people they don't see the value in it. But this sounds super interesting to me. So, It Was Just an Accident is a thriller that begins with a seemingly minor accident. A man named, I'm going to butcher these and I apologize. A man named Egbal accidentally hits a dog while driving at night with his pregnant wife. The event leads him to a garage owned by Vahid, who believes Egbal resembles the officer who once tortured him in prison. Driven by a desire for justice, Vahid kidnaps Egbal, intending to bury him alive. However, as doubts about Egbal's identity arise, Vahid seeks confirmation from fellow former prisoners. That sounded fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't actually like read the plot yet, did you?
That was the synopsis.
Yeah, it looks good. I read
and
this
I've only
one.
seen that one clip that they keep playing over and over again, of them arguing in the desert. It was filmed, in Iran without permission from their governments.
Yeah.
And then there's one of the things that they were like, actors, apparently in Iran, if you're a woman and you're acting in a film, hijab. You have to wear a hijab. And the woman is not wearing a hijab.
So
in this film,
it sounds like they're going to probably be all arrested at this stage.
It sounds like the whole cat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That sucks, dude.
Yep. In 2010, they imposed a 20-year ban on him making films in Iran. That clearly didn't last because he made one in like 2019. He's made one now in 2025. So, yeah. And the one in 2019 that got him in the biggest trouble, I think, it's called This Is Not a Film.
That's funny.
Yep. So, I'm excited for that. I hope, it does. I'm sure this is a movie that I'm going to have to watch in some form of streaming capacity. Unless one of the very limited amount of art house films we have in Houston, or art house theaters we have in Houston, will play it. I don't know, but it sounds great.
I'm gonna laugh my ass off if the Museum of Fine Arts fucking shows this film.
I'm not against going there.
I know, but like when you were like, "Oh, they don't have anything," I was like, "Bro, come on."
That's just me trying to hype myself up to open my own art house theater.
I mean, you could go by the Wind Chimes Theater.
Or the Pews, which is near the Heights.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was the one I had on mine. I assume that was not on yours.
No, there's only one. Actually, hold on. Let me double check this real quick. No, there are two. Yeah. Okay.
So
I just have to keep double checking because that fucking list keeps disappearing on me.
Oh. The next one on mine was the one I talked about earlier, Nouvelle Vague, which is French for New Wave, directed by Richard Linklater. This is just it kind of.
You've really gotten into French New Wave films recently.
So I have, and it's I watched like a dumb YouTube, not a dumb, it wasn't dumb. I watched a YouTube video on it from I think like either like House of Tabular or like one of the like film YouTube channels that I found, and they talked about like what is French New Wave, why those directors like Jean-Luc Godard, Francois Truffaut, why they are the new wave in France, and like the way they shot films, and no permits, and very very DIY, very very much reminiscent to the 90s with indie film in America, but like the jump cut was invented in the movie Breathless, Jean-Luc Godard, and that's what. And I watched that film. I watched it like a month ago. I reviewed it. It's on our website, rantingmedia.com. And that's what kind of sent me spiraling. And I saw that Richard Linklater, a director that I love, is directing a movie about the making of Breathless, Jean-Luc Godard. So yeah, it was shot entirely in Paris. It's in black and white. It's in a 4:3 aspect ratio. It took about a month to shoot, and it's entirely in French, which Richard Linklater does not speak, which is crazy. But yeah, it's about making that film, which is already I tell people if they're gonna watch it, try to let go of the knowledge you have of like aspects of film, and look at it with like fresh eyes. Look at it that it is 1960 France. And I learned about like actress Jane Sebring, who had a fascinating life, and was an American that moved to France and primarily had her career there. And this was one of her first films. In fact, she only took French. She only like learned French like a couple of months beforehand.
Nice.
So it's fascinating. So the fact that Richard Linklater, a director I love so much, made a movie about another movie that I have really gotten into lately, it of course was one that I have to see it. It does have the distributor on this, and again I ARP selection. But as of like yesterday, Netflix bought it.
What was this again? Which film was this again?
Nouvelle Vague.
Oh, okay. So Netflix did purchase it. Okay.
Netflix purchased it. I don't have a date, a release date, or anything yet. But yeah, that was my other one. That I was, or one of the other ones that I'm really excited about.
Nice.
All right, and then I'll go through these other ones really quickly. Surat, directed by a guy named Oliver Lax. It's going to be on Mubi. And basically, daughter goes to like a concert in Morocco, and she goes missing. And it's like a rave, I guess. And she goes missing. And so father and his son, her brother, go to Morocco to try and find her. And that it's supposed to be very good. It's supposed to have a good soundtrack, and it's supposed to be super weird. So I'm excited about that. And it was filmed a lot with like somebody compared it to Fury Road as far as how it looked, and like it looked post-apocalyptic sci-fi, but it's very much like rooted in a very not innocent but a very earnest like process. They're just looking for a daughter. And yeah, so I'm very excited about that one. Did you hear about this one?
Yeah, I think it looked pretty good. It's one of those. There's a lot of these that are still like coming, I would say, like on my backlist.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of films from Cannes that I'm just like, I'm going to add it to my list eventually.
Yeah.
It's just where can I access it is the primary issue.
And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna. I learned how Mubi works. I'm not gonna pay that much a month for Mubi for how it works. So
yeah.
No thanks. So yeah. So Surat, Oliver Lax. This one sounded interesting. Sound of Falling, uh, directed by Masha
Yes.
Shalinsky. Yeah, this one sounded super interesting. It's basically told in four separate generations of girls that are living at this certain farm throughout generations and what happens to them. Um, and I so it just that right there. I mean, I'll read this enough. Sound of Falling is a poetic and haunting drama that interweaves the lives of four girls: Alma, Erica, Angelica, and Lenka, across different historical periods, all connected by a remote farmstead in Germany's Altmark region. The film spans over a century, exploring themes of intergenerational trauma, memory, and the passage of time. Each girl's story unfolds at the same farmhouse, revealing how their lives are subtly interconnected as traces of the past emerge. Another cool thing about this one is the first film by a German female filmmaker to compete at Cannes or Cannes.
Yeah.
Since Marin Aday's some movie I've never heard of, Tony Erdmann in 2016, and it's only the second female.
Yeah, I thought the premise of like the generational, because it's supposed to be like different things come up as it like progresses. So I mean, it's just one of those things where have you I know you're not into TV right now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we started watching Dark.
Well, you started watching what?
Dark.
Okay, yeah, I don't know that.
So it's a German show that Netflix bought and they dubbed over. And it is it is a fucked up, twisted show, like as you get through it. Because it starts off with just like it starts off with missing kids. Or a missing kid. Alright. And then as the story progresses, it starts twisting into 3 different timelines. You've got the 80s, you've got the 1950s, and then you have present era. And they start cutting between those 3 different eras throughout the first season. It's one of those things where if you tell me you're not going to watch it, that's fine. I will spoil it for you.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix currently.
Okay.
Now, if you watch it, I highly suggest you watch the original German dialogue. Because dubbing,
if I'm going to do
the
it,
dubbing's atrocious. The dubbing is atrocious. Watch the first couple episodes if you can. And then you might start to piece it together by like the 3rd episode of like exactly what's happening. But I will just say the missing children is not the craziest thing in this show.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay. Update. It was just an accident. It was bought by Neon.
Nice.
It the 6th film in a row that won the Palme d'Or that Neon is distributing.
Oh yeah, 8 days ago.
Yep. Good for them. Good for them. Good for him. Obviously, he's going to need bail money. I'm joking. I'm sorry.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
So my last one, and like I said, I'll go quick. And I'm going to say the English title, because I'm gonna really mess up. O Agente Secreto, The Secret Agent, directed by Kleber Mendonça Filho, which is it's a Brazilian film, which is set in 1977 during Brazil's military dictatorship. The film follows Marcelo, a technology expert in his early 40s who relocates to Recife during Carnival Week, seeking a fresh start. However, he quickly realizes that the city is far from the peaceful refuge he envisioned. As he attempts to reunite with his son and escape his past, Marcelo becomes entangled in a web of political intrigue and personal discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed really cool. Seemed like a cool mystery. Brazilian films have done well. This year's Oscars, the international film went to a Brazilian film called "I'm Still Here," which is supposed to be really, really good. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. About somebody from that same time period who was abducted from his family and never returns, basically. So with that kind of existing, with that being in the canon, and then this in that same time period, it just seems like a cool movie. I don't have a lot of really in-depth thought other than it just sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Now I thought that this was part of a trilogy. Is this not the same guy?
I haven't heard that. There is, I mean, the Ethan Coen movie.
No, there was a guy that. Maybe I've got this wrong. There's a film that was like the third part of a trilogy that was premiering at Cannes, and I don't remember if that's. But I could have swore it was also a Brazilian film.
Possibly.
Okay, well that's cool.
But yeah, those were my 5.
So Eddington didn't make your list?
Okay, I have thoughts about Eddington.
So are you? Hold on a second. Are you an Ari Aster fan?
I'm a Hereditary and Midsummer fan.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily call myself an Ari Aster fan. And even saying that is like it's so there's such a juxtaposition. So, have you ever seen his short film? We got to talk about the Johnsons.
No.
It's a rough fucking watch, man. I don't recommend it. It's only like 15 minutes. It's a rough watch, and I don't like it. But do I not like it because of what it is, or because of the subject matter of it, or because I think it's a bad film or short film in this instance? And I don't know. I hate the premise. I hate the premise of it, but I can't say it without giving it away.
So
I didn't love the last one he made.
So let me just say, like, I really liked Hereditary a lot. It's also one of Julia's favorite films. Midsummer was just fucking weird.
Like, I loved it. It was like Hereditary, but weird.
And that's the thing is like, I want to say like he was part of like this. We'll just call it A24 phase because I mean it's A24 films.
He was kind of at the beginning,
right? But like A24 was just like, we're gonna release films that are just fucking bizarre,
right?
And if I look at like all of the films that they've done, and this is not like every single one that they've ever done, because like they did Everything Everywhere All at Once, they did Ex Machina, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that.
The Green Knight was really fucking bizarre.
I never saw it, but I think I should.
That one was really fucking bizarre. But they've also did like Lady Bird. So like I would say they are.
Lady Bird I like just because it's Greta Gerwig.
This might be an unpopular opinion. I would say it is the Everyman's Art House Film Company.
No, I think you're 100% correct.
Because it's them not, and Neon. Yeah, because it's not like they're playing some weirdness, but they're also playing some like safe.
Yeah,
I would say they're a little bit
Everything Everywhere All at Once. So
they're a little bit more approachable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that being said, like his latest with Eddington is called Eddington.
Yes.
And I
good
just
cast.
Yeah, that's kind of what it makes me now. Okay, this is also going to probably be a controversial thing. I love Pedro Pascal, man.
Who doesn't love Pedro Pascal?
But I do want to say, like, I think the dude is being in way too much stuff recently. Like,
the dude is in demand.
Because let me just say, and I love that for him. Trust me, like, I'm so glad he's getting the recognition. But like, it feels like everywhere I turn, it's what I would call the what's her name? The Anya Taylor-Joy effect as well. Because for a minute, every film had Anya Taylor-Joy in it. And now you've got Pedro Pascal in the new Fantastic Four movie. He is in Gladiator 2.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, let me just like look at
the... that movie's terrible.
I would say after a certain point, all Ridley Scott films have been terrible.
Correct.
Like there is a clear break, and I haven't quite figured out what that break is. I'm just being clear.
There was a movie that I saw that Ridley Scott made that I actually was kind of surprised that he made. Hold on.
Oh, The Martian was good.
Oh,
The Martian was good of all things.
I didn't know that he had made Thelma and Louise.
Yes.
Yeah, love that movie. He made a ton of good movies. I mean, literally, like Alien. Yeah. You know, like freaking newer movies like House of Gucci is supposed to be really good. I think Kingdom of Heaven is a sleeper hit.
So let me just put it this way. In 2025 alone, he's in Eddington, Materialists, The Fantastic Four.
I do want to see The Materialists too.
In 2024, he was in Freaky Tales, The Uninvited, Drive Away Dolls, The Wild Robot, Gladiator 2.
Okay.
So like he is definitely like increased his like I said, I love him. Great actor. I just, all the best to him. But it is like, it's becoming a lot. Anyways, so if we looked at Eddington, it is not the first pandemic era movie, but this one happens to be set during the pandemic.
Yes, and from what I've heard is that after a little bit of time, the pandemic takes a backdrop to other things.
Yeah,
that aren't necessarily, so it's not at the forefront. And I, I don't know, man. I don't know if I knew like by some point we were going to start having movies about the pandemic and about, that whole, and it's just like, do I want to re-experience that? Number one. Number two, I don't know. It to me, it's like, we're going to have half the movie that thinks Joaquin Phoenix is the hero. We're going to have the other half of the movie that thinks Pedro Pascal is the hero.
Oh, yeah. And but that's I get it.
But I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, Austin Butler, everybody rules in this movie.
I'm not a huge Austin Butler fan.
Austin Butler in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is magical. As Tex.
See, but that's the thing. I don't fucking remember him in that movie. Like, I know exactly who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Want to do some witchy shit. I love that.
It's one of those things where I'm just like, oh yeah, that was Austin Butler. Austin Butler to me was Elvis. Dune 2.
Oh yeah.
And Elvis.
Yeah.
And that's all I ever have known him from. In that Tom Hardy biking film.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
I am gonna see this movie. I just think those other movies sounded better.
So the other one on my list
I already know.
is the one I'm like really on the fucking fence about.
Oh.
Because here's the thing. You loved Asteroid City.
God, I loved Asteroid City. Yep.
I thought it was just okay.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
The French Dispatch was terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't get through it.
And I don't know enough about the Phoenician scheme to know, is it going more in the vein of the French Dispatch, or are we gonna like, because yeah,
I feel you. I do. I feel you 100% because so I watched that trailer and I watched it while to my wife. I was like, hey, I want to see this movie. Watch the trailer with me. And like, I'm usually pretty good at like feeling how the other person is feeling when they're watching something. And like, neither one of us were super stoked by the trailer. Yeah. And here's the best way I could put it. If somebody were to make a fake movie trailer making fun of Wes Anderson movies, that trailer would be spot on.
Have you ever seen the SNL horror movie?
It's perfect. I want that movie. That's the movie that I want.
hey, gang, there's been a murder.
Yeah. But I just, it's so, like, it's like you have to, now that style of movie is Wes Anderson-ish-esque. If we're Kafka-esque, this is Anderson-esque.
Which like, makes me so fucking mad.
I know. I know.
What makes me so fucking mad, and he's like, I don't have a particular style. I just shoot what I... And I'm like, dude,
symmetry
fuck off.
And bright colors, man.
bright pastel colors, specifically. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just... And it's quirky. The shots are... Jim, I'm going to get you into... film, like what different shots are called. We've got the whip pan, we've got the Dutch angle, we've got all sorts of different angles. I just
watched Do the Right Thing, and there are some very aggressive angles in that film.
So Do the Right Thing. Hold on, Do the Right Thing probably has. Yep, that is 100% a Dutch angle.
Okay, got it. They're either like crooked slightly, or from either a very under the character or over the character.
If you want a really fun Easter egg, just Google Dutch angle.
Okay.
And you're gonna think that your monitor broke. Because the entire Google page is just tilted. Just, so it makes you feel like your head is tilted. Yeah. Okay. And it's meant to create unease. So.
Yes.
There's, we'll say different camera angles. So there's medium shot, close-up shot, long shot, blah, 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 establishing shot. I like whip pans a lot because I think those are cool.
You know what I think would be wild, though, in a Wes Anderson film? If they went handheld.
That's the thing, man. They're always on a tripod. And the way that, like, he designs
or that weird
everything...
slidey thing, like that looks like a train track.
Yeah, well, it's on a dolly.
Yeah, okay.
So it's on a dolly, but he's got it on a tripod, and he just like moves it in a box. So he's moving it like at like a 90-degree angle, and then he pivots back. And that's just how he always shoots things. And like, I get it, but like, you have the exact opposite of that with like a Paul Greengrass film. Do you know who that director is?
No.
So I guarantee you'll know if you've watched the Bourne films.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He took over Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum, and his big thing was is like, I'm gonna do documentary style. And for
Yeah.
better or worse, it is all handheld. The zooms are fucking aggressive. It is just like punch in zoom. And he's like, you're in the action. And it made people kind of fucking sick watching those films.
Right.
So like everyone's got like a different style,
Oh,
for
sure.
better or worse. But to go back to the Phoenician scheme,
It looks like if I typed in, "Hey, make a trailer that's Wes Anderson-ish," it would be
yeah.
that.
And like it's one of those things where I would say my enthusiasm for it has dwindled a little bit to the point where will I see it in theaters? I don't know. I felt like I had to see Mission Impossible in theaters just because, like, I don't know, like the score, the sound effects, everything.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's one of those things that like kind of begs for you to watch it like at grand scale.
Sure, yeah.
Which we will get into that once you complete your. I did order.
Give me some shots, and I'll look up some good films that use them.
So man, I really like how Edgar Wright shoots things. So I think he does a lot of.
The other thing from this year, I guess Kevin Spacey is back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Edgar Wright definitely does wet pans.
Yeah. Oh, but they what's that? What is that freaking YouTube channel called? You and I were talking about it.
Every film.
Every frame of painting.
Yeah.
Yes, every frame of painting. He has a whole video on how he shoots comedy, and it's brilliant. That might have been the video that made me go, holy shit! I want to learn more about this, and like why Edgar Wright comedy is better than so many other comedies.
Yeah. I mean, and there's certain films. So like Andor of all shows really broke a lot of. So there's the rule. I think it's called the rule of thirds. Make sure I got that right. Yeah. So the rule of thirds is basically your image is divided into 9 equal parts. And sorry, my dog has decided to bark randomly. Okay. Sorry. So the rule of thirds I'm trying to remember this from a film example. So you want it to be at the intersections of these lines. So if you look at like a grid, you'll see that usually you'll have a character on the far right of the frame and it has a nice even amount of like open space on the left so that your eye is naturally drawn to that person in the frame.
Okay.
And that's just the rule of thirds. Andor breaks that by moving them into like the middle of the frame. Or Rogue One actually did it really cool to where when the ships come in, you're basically like a camera on the far left side of the ship just fixed to the ship as it's coming in. It's not zoomed out. And it's breaking, and it kind of gives you like a sense of uneasiness, and in some cases like claustrophobia, because you're just not used to like filling that much Like it's uneasy. Like Dutch Angle does it like very intentionally. If you break the rules of third in film, you're not really you're getting the sense that something is off, but it's not quite like ruddily apparent what that is right off the get go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I really do like studying that kind of stuff and just like learning more about like how these things are made. Because like it's a visual art form.
Oh yeah.
And like I don't know, if you're really interested, it would be one of those things where you should watch like how David Fincher makes films, for instance. Right. Or because that man fucking pioneered like digital filmmaking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Actually, as much as people dislike me saying this, or will dislike me, like George Lucas is a huge father of not only visual effects but digital filmmaking.
Right.
I mean, so it's just like, but like, and people like shit on him for like the prequels and everything. There's stuff in the prequels that if they hadn't done that, you would not have the level of fidelity that you have now for visual effects. So it's just like, I don't know, you just learn to appreciate films a lot more than just like, did I like it? Was it okay?
Yep. Zodiac, my favorite David Fincher film.
I think mine's still The Social Network.
Haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it.
Well, if you want to borrow it, I got it.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. So, anything else from Cannes?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I would say that like this wasn't a surprise what won, but like I can't say that. Like a lot of these things, like, you know, I think 2026 Cannes will be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I think 2025 you'll get a little bit more more films under your belt, and you know, we'll see.
I did think Julia, and I'm gonna butcher her last name, Dacarnau, Julia Dacarnau.
Uh-huh.
She directed Raw, and she directed Titane, which won like I think 2 years ago.
Okay.
The Palme d'Or. And Raw I think did too. She's like a Cannes darling. So she came out with a movie called Alpha, and apparently it's fucking atrocious. Like people are saying it's the most disappointing film from the festival.
Oh, like a sophomore film.
Yeah. So yeah, her film is called Alpha. Yeah. The other movies we kind of alluded to it, but Die My Love by Lynn Ramsey, which with Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson, is supposed to be. It's got mixed reviews, but apparently Jennifer Lawrence is incredible. And if she's not like in like Best Actress category and stuff like that for like the Oscars and stuff, it's because just the movie isn't that great. I've heard good things about The Mastermind by Kelly Reichardt. And Sentimental Value by I'm going to say his name wrong. Joachim Trier is also supposed to be a very good film. Yeah, that's my last
thought. Fuck, I literally just had it's
not Lars von Trier.
No, it's Joachim.
Yeah, it might be.
Hold on.
There's a band called Hammerfall from Sweden, and that's the first name of the singer. And I've always said it fucking wrong.
Oh no! Apparently, it's literally Joachim.
Oh, okay, there you go then. But that movie has sentimental value. It is like it's the highest rated film right now on like Letterboxd and Reddit and Metacritic from Cannes. It has Stellan Skarsgård, Ella Fanning is in it, and so that is what
you
people
sold
are
me at
saying.
Stellan Skarsgård.
I know, dude. I know.
One of my favorite fucking actors.
Mm-hmm. You ever see him in Nymphomaniac?
No.
It's an uncomfortable movie to watch. It's definitely yeah.
So good. And the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, man?
He's in the Dune movies.
I'm dumb. The girl with the dragon tattoo is my favorite David Fincher film.
Yeah.
It's I forgot. I always forget about that for some reason.
Oh, he's in the Lars von Trier film Melancholia, which I've heard a bunch of good things about.
Yes, I have heard about that one as well. I don't know. There's a
I'm
lot
rough with him though. I don't know. He does a good job. I know it's like bad film fan to not like him, but just like I am not his. I don't know. He doesn't do it for me.
Well, I mean, to that I'll say like it's one of those things where, you know, if a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is such a good film," like I'll say that like during like film history, my professor was a critic at Variety.
Oh, okay.
And boy, he let you know. He was like, I write for Variety, so I know. Now, don't get me wrong. Great professor, Joe Layden. Really liked his stuff. He would make us watch some stuff that I was just like, I don't know. Just one of those things. But yeah, I think that does it for us crashing the Cannes Festival.
You can say that it's in the can.
It is in the can. In 2026, we will probably not be there. 2027,
No.
2027. Our website will skyrocket to popularity, and we will get personal gold engraved invites, and we'll say no. We're too important for you.
I'm trying to see what so Poland, Krakow Film Festival, started May 25th, ends June 1st.
Now, here's the other thing, and maybe this is going to make me sound ridiculously old.
There are too many. There are so many film festivals.
No, there's too many people at film festivals.
Oh, yeah.
There is. When I first moved down here, I heard about South by Southwest, and I was like, that sounds like so fucking awesome. And then I heard about, you know, people that live there and how fucking miserable they are.
Oh, yeah.
South by Southwest.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to go now. So I'm definitely it's one of those things where, like, at one point in my life, I wanted to go to Comic-Con. I wanted to go to South by Southwest.
That sounds like a nightmare.
I wanted to go to, like, all of these, like, quote unquote, like, geek, like, pop culture mecca. And now I'm just like, I'm good. And maybe that's like a post-pandemic thing.
I think it's just an us getting older thing.
I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things where, like we were eating breakfast yesterday at a place in Katy, and it was quiet. It was just a nice like coffee shop that was quiet, and I was like, this is really nice. Like, I don't have to compete to talk, and also like I just like loud noise and everything like that just doesn't. It stresses me out. Let me just put it that way.
The one that I've always wanted to go to, and we can finish off this, is Fantastic Fest in Austin.
Yeah, but it's that's like, well, is that still going now?
September 18th through the 25th.
So, let me ask you this, though. Is it still technically, like, I know it says it's Alamo. Is that still technically Alamo?
I mean, I don't know if it's Sony, but...
Well, I mean, like, what is... Hold on.
This is the 20th anniversary this year.
Is this one of those, like, we don't know what's going to be shown until, like, they just start screening shit?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't... Oh, that annoys me. Especially because I would have to pay $545.
I know, I did just see that. Yeah.
Oh, also, Criterion Collection. You are more than welcome to send us the Wes Anderson film collection on 4K.
Yes, we would here at the Critics Club. We would love to review and we'll even do an unboxing.
Now that being said, this is the part where I might have to like cut myself. You're fucking out of your mind.
Criterion.
You're out of your goddamn mind. $400. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. They have a purchase option where it's $100 off right now. So it's actually $500. It's $500 normally. And the artwork isn't doing it for me. It is. I get that that's very Wes Anderson. I don't like the artwork.
It's too muted. It's too daft.
It's very 1960s NASA. Very plain and simple.
Yeah. Criterion Collection has a box set of the Godzilla Showa era films. And that's $130.
So when they put this on sale for 50% off, I'm just letting you know I still won't buy it.
Yeah, it's
still too expensive.
$250.
Like, don't get me wrong.
The Godzilla one, you're getting 15 movies.
Yeah, I mean, they're out of their goddamn mind. Criterion Collection, I love you, but well.
If you send us one, we will dissect it, and we will then understand why it costs that much, and we will tell our masses.
Now, Jim, they are doing Isle of Dogs on 4K.
I haven't seen that one either.
I don't remember if I liked it or not.
I do. You told me you didn't like it.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like it as much as Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Well, no. Yeah.
So wait, hold on a second. They're doing French Dispatch in Isle of Dogs. They're not doing Asteroid City?
I told you.
I wonder why that is.
Whoever owns it.
Who owns Asteroid City?
Because there isn't a Criterion version of that movie.
Focus Features. Well, yeah, but French Dispatch and Isle of Dogs just got into the Criterion Collection.
Oh.
So maybe it's just too... No, that doesn't hold true either because fucking Honora.
Yeah. It's gotta be something to do with distribution or,
Universal Pictures. Hold on. Who did French Dispatch? Let's just... that's why. It's because Searchlight Pictures did French Dispatch.
Told you. Yep. And they love themselves some great. Yeah.
And Universal did Asteroid City.
Yep.
So is that... Alright, let's just go one layer further. Phoenician Scheme. I'm just trying to prepare myself for... Yep, same thing. So we're never going to get Criterion Collection for those others.
Yay.
Well... That's fucking dumb.
Agreed.
Well, but that doesn't make sense either. Criterion Collection is a joint venture between Universal Pictures Home Entertainment and Warner Brothers Home Entertainment via a distribution deal with Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. Jim, something's wrong here.
Are we gonna uncover like a?
Something's wrong here. Yeah, the releases are currently distributed. Blah, 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 blah. It was reported that Sony Pictures... Yeah. Alright, well... Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out at some point.
So,
thank you all for tuning in.
I don't have an answer. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all listening. This is probably going to be the start, I think. We haven't really talked about details, but the start of like another like one-off series of podcasts where we do a little bit of a deeper dive into specific films. I think I teased it on the last podcast too, but we just haven't figured out like what we're calling it yet. And we also don't know what the film will be. I will say that we have to rewatch whatever film that is before we talk about it.
Of course.
So actually, you know, it'd be interesting. What if we flip-flopped on who picked what movie?
That's a good idea.
So why don't you pick the first one?
Can I think about it?
Yeah, of course. I'm not putting you on the spot. That would be horrendous.
Okay, cool.
Unless we call the podcast on the spot, but
I like that.
It's not going to be called backdoor.
We'll spin the wheel of
slots.
mythicality.
Or what's the Red Letter Media one? The fucking
half in the bag.
No, they've got.
No,
like,
I know. I don't know. Yeah.
Is it Best of the Worst, where it's like the like worst of the worst or something, where they have a
like
wheel that they spin? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we won't do that. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Visit our website, rantmedia.com. You can also subscribe to this podcast at podcast.rantymedia.com or wherever you find your podcasts normally. We're on everything. Yes, including Spotify. I think we're still on Spotify. You have to double check.
Yes.
Tune in to our next episode of The Critics Club.
Bye.
The end. Bye. All right, now you're going to hit tools and stop recording.